Democrats have been dropping out of the Democratic primary in an effort to really solidify support for Biden. But here's the problem. Recently, Biden was on Chris Wallace's show, and he demonstrated for the world yet again why he would do poorly on a debate stage up against Donald Trump. Take a look.
Mr. Vice President, thank you. Thanks for your time. Please come back in less than 13 years, sir.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
Chris. I just did Chris. No, I just did Chuck. I tell you what, man, these are back to back. Anyway.
No, it's okay.
I don't know how you do it early in the morning, too.
Safe travels on the campaign trail. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So these gaffes, if it happens once, it's fine. People make mistakes, but they are a very common fixture in the Biden campaign. You see it on the debate stage for sure. You see it when he's campaigning, when he's in one state and he thinks he's in a different state. He's campaigning in New Hampshire, he thinks he's in Vermont. And these are issues that I feel uncomfortable talking about because you don't want to get into ableist territory. You don't want to make it seem like you're being ageist, for instance. But the fact of the matter is, he has these moments where it seems like he forgets where he's at or he forgets what he was trying to say, and the gaffes are happening more and more often. And I worry about that because if he were to be the Democratic nominee, as stupid as I think Donald Trump is, he doesn't come across as someone who's declining mentally, right? Like, don't get me wrong, he's not a smart person.
Mark me down as disagreeing.
No, but you get what I'm saying? Like Trump's
I would say that the way he's falling apart is couched in comedy and bombast in a way that Biden does not.
Yeah, so I agree. That's a better way of putting it because Trump certainly has his moments as well, but his moments usually consist of him saying really terrible, insulting things that somehow miraculously work to his advantage. Whereas Biden, like he sometimes seems lost when he's on the debate stage. And I worry about him, on that debate stage against Donald Trump, you think that Julian Castro was cruel to Biden on the debate stage?
They did say that.
Right, you think that Trump is gonna be nicer?
Yeah, I mean, we covered, I think we had it on the show, Biden was less than a week ago saying, I'm running for the United States Senate, and if you don't want to vote for me, vote for the other Biden. I don't even know obviously he misspoke about the Senate, but I don't know what the other Biden thing is, but he said that. Did you see today the quote that he mangled?
Oh geez, no, I didn't.
I forget the exact quote, I apologize, but I believe that this is a fair representation of it. He was like, you remember that famous phrase, we hold these truths to be self-evident, and that thing. It's like, you brought it up. I didn't ask you to quote it. You brought it up and you couldn't remember it. And it's not rare. Right. It's coming up all the time.
So how do you address that in a way that isn't insulting or offensive? Because it's a genuine concern that voters have, right? But
I don't know that we can.
But it's the truth. I mean, we all see it. Are we gonna pretend like it doesn't exist?
Yeah, the media will, yeah. He had to admit on the eve of the South Carolina primary that he had lied about being arrested in apartheid South Africa.
Yes.
And everyone's like, oh, okay. Now what was going on? They just passed over it.
Okay, so how are we gonna trash Bernie now?
Exactly, the most insane lies. And again, in the context of decades of lying about his activity in the civil rights movement. Like he tees up whole scandals, multi-decade scandals, and they don't care. You think they're gonna care about some mangled quotes? Everyone's gonna pretend that it's just fine.
And then they simultaneously, when I say they, I mean the corporate media, pretend as if defeating Donald Trump is the most important thing and that's what they care about, right? But again, if that is genuinely what they care about, or when they're interviewing a Democrat who claims that that's genuinely what they care about, but they're endorsing Biden, why don't they follow that up by saying, well, okay, obviously Biden's gaffes are gonna be an issue.
We've been saying it since before he joined the race.
So if we care about defeating Trump, maybe we shouldn't prop up a candidate who's having trouble during his campaign rallies when he's surrounded by friendly people who want him to win the nomination. In those types of environments, he struggles. So how is he gonna do in an unfriendly environment when he has someone like Donald Trump who hits below the belt so often with absolutely no remorse?
Yeah, he's gonna do poorly. Yeah, and look, I get from the, I feel like some in the media, if they even were inclined to criticize Joe Biden, and supposedly, I've heard from people who do watch them that I generally agree with that they do at times, they're gonna feel that same unease. How do I bring up the fact that he keeps having these issues without seeming like I'm striking him below the belt?
Right.
Fine. It's really hard. I think you're professionals. You've got a lot of producers. You can figure out some way. But if you're not going to do that, at the very least, the out and out lies, the lies about the Forrest Gumpian lies about participation in historical events that you were not a part of, you can bring that up at least. And if you can't, then it is a weird admission about the fan base that, well, we don't want to turn them off. They seem to have no problem whatsoever with the fact that he's bumbling his way through this thing and that he's lost. No, but they should be concerned about it. At some point, someone has to raise it. He's not like trying to be the next bachelor. He's trying to be the next president.
Yeah, exactly. And just think about how the media would treat those types of stories if it weren't Biden, if it were a candidate that they clearly do not like. So if Bernie Sanders lied about his activism during the civil rights movement, we would hear about that nonstop, 24/7.
And Elizabeth Warren, who has had told stories about her past that were not accurate, she has been criticized. They know how to do it clearly when they want to.
Exactly. I mean, it's just so clear that they have a preference, and the media does have a lot of influence, unfortunately. And it's terrifying considering what the party is up against in the general election. You're dealing with someone who doesn't believe in rules. You're dealing with someone who doesn't care about decorum, doesn't care about being polite. So again, if you think that Bernie supporters are too enthusiastic and they're not polite enough, wait till Biden is up against someone like Trump, because Trump and his supporters don't care about anything. There are no rules. They're gonna hit as hard as they can. And someone who isn't mentally prepared for someone like Trump is certainly not gonna beat him, and I worry about that.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.